Hello there, and welcome to Cityline. We are zooming from my kitchen into your home, and it is a pleasure and privilege to be here. We have a great hour ahead of us. Later on, we'll be talking with Point Ruston Public Market. Stacy is here to talk about all of the great vendors they have and all the great events that are coming up. Duke Paulson will be here from the Tacoma Rescue Mission. He's here to talk about how they are currently coping with COVID-19, how operations have changed, and what you can do to help Tacoma Rescue Mission. Rebuilding Hope, Sexual Assault Center for Pierce County. Carlin Sampson will be here to talk about their organization, the 50 years that they have been here in Pierce County, and their event coming up on April 20th. The Humane Society will be here with our Pet of the Week. And with me right now, I have two distinguished gentlemen who are here to talk about Palmer Scholars. Please join me in welcoming Jonathan Jackson. You are the Executive Director of Palmer Scholars. Welcome back, Jonathan.
Glad to be here. Crazy to do 2 years in a row of virtual Cityline, but I'm glad to be here.
One of these days, I'm going to get you back on the comfy couch in the studio, okay? I promise.
Looking forward to it.
You brought with you this delightful individual. From the moment he jumped on the screen, my first thought was, how brilliant are you? We're talking about Rhys Martin. Rhys, you are a current Palmer Scholar. Thank you so much, Rhys, for being here today.
Yes, ma'am. It is a pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me.
Oh, my pleasure. So, Jonathan, let's just break it out here. If somebody doesn't know what the mission of Palmer Scholars is, what would you say to them?
Our mission is service. You know, we've been around for nearly 40 years, and we are really focused on helping underrepresented young adults across Pierce County identify and successfully pursue their best fit post-secondary pathway. So many folks look at us, especially students, as a scholarship program, but we pride ourselves on being much more than that. Scholarships and financial support is one of the many things that we do, but we are very much a family-centered, scholar-centric organization that is supported, that is dedicated to their success, whatever that path looks like for them. Not necessarily our mission statement, but definitely what we live out.
I call you the ultimate co-parent. That's what I call you. And I think that every parent that has somebody who is in high school needs to have Palmer Scholars come alongside them. Talk to us, Jonathan, about how the pandemic has impacted your programs and the way that you serve your scholars.
Yeah, you know, the pandemic has impacted everything. You know, I took the team home about a week and a half before Governor Inslee shut things down. So we've been working fully remote for over a year now. We had to pivot, and that's been kind of the buzzword of the past 12 months, past 15 months, I suppose. Take all of our trainings online. We typically do bi-monthly trainings in person with our scholars, bringing them together and kind of building relationships. All of that has transitioned to taking place on Zoom. We do twice yearly campus visits that obviously have now taken place on Zoom or via FaceTime. And we've also been very intentional about not simply continuing the services that we provide, which fortunately we've been able to do so in an uninterrupted way, but really focusing on the emergent needs that folks have had as a result of COVID-19. Many of our young people have been displaced from their campus housing when school shut down, or have had to take on additional responsibilities in their home. Many of our students are essential workers or have family members that are essential workers and have suffered a number of challenges related to COVID-19. So it's been a matter of taking a look to see how can we do what we've always done in a virtual format, and then how can we also be responsive to the emergent needs of our scholars that this pandemic has brought about. I think we've done so very successfully. It's been a day-to-day challenge, but I consider myself blessed to have this amazing team that I do. I don't have to worry about whether or not that they're at home binge watching Cobra Kai on Netflix. I know that they're putting in the good work and making it happen every minute.
Have you been watching my Netflix subscription? You have to know.
It's a good show. It's a good show.
It is a good show.
I watch it after hours.
Rhys, you joined Palmer Scholars as a high school junior and are pursuing your degree at the University of Washington. Smart cookie, mister. Tell us about how Palmer Scholars has helped you prepare for life after high school, whatever it looks like?
Man, Palmer Scholars has definitely made a big impact on me personally. Coming from a single parent home where it's just only my mom taking care of us and then my dad's out the house. My mom and dad, their highest form of education was high school. So anything after that, it was kind of like all up in the air. And anyways, my mom always told me like, go to college, this, that, and the other, go get your degree. Well, I pretty much didn't know how to do that. And so with Palmer stepping in, just the community aspect of everything, them just like taking me alongside their wing and, showing me the ropes, showing me what FAFSA was, which I had no clue what that was at all. Making these on-campus visits and everything, it was definitely a big deal because, there was nobody else around me to, show me these things. And so if it weren't for Palmer's, I really don't think I'd be in the position that I am now to be graduating this spring with my bachelor's. So definitely they have made a big impact on my life.
Do you see the smile on my face? It's ear to ear because you are just so exceptional. Reese, being a college student during a pandemic has got to be tough. Talk about how it has impacted you over this past year. What changes have you made?
Man, definitely. Being a college student during the pandemic is not something I recommend for students, but it has definitely brought out a sense of like resilience for me, just trying to get through this like tough time, forcing me to, just deal with things that I've been putting on the back burner. But it definitely shows your grit, on like how much you want to like just achieve something. And, being a college student during this time is really hard, but, just having a community around me and, just making sure that I'm like mentally stable and, just focusing on myself, that was like the biggest thing for me during the pandemic. But, definitely just having that sense of community and, having Palmers there around me, having friends, other students, it has definitely helped me get through, just being a college student and getting through this whole thing.
Yeah, what you said was just so accurate because it is a community that keeps you focused. And that community also says to you, focus on yourself. You've got to get through this. And during a pandemic, if nobody is saying that to us, then we start to focus on anything else but ourselves. And that's the last thing we want to have happen for you, Reese. Jonathan, I understand you've been with Palmer Scholars for about 7 years now. First on staff, then as a board member, now as the executive director. Talk with me about how Palmer Scholars has kept you involved and what was it that made you decide to take the executive director role?
Yeah, Palmer Scholars is a phenomenal organization. I thought that I was a Palmer Scholar based on a partnership between Degrees of Change, the X6 program in Palmer. It wasn't until I came on as a program director and didn't find a file with my name on it that I realized I actually wasn't. But it's a program that goes above and beyond in so many ways. There's a lot of college access programs out there, but we really pride ourselves on being a post-secondary success organization. That might be college, but whatever it is, we're not simply helping you gain access. We want to help you successfully navigate and come out on the other end, able to really make a difference in the community and to change the trajectory of your family. When I stepped away, I actually had the opportunity to work for the superintendent's office in the Career and Technical Education Department. And at that point in time, I really had my first real exposure to the many opportunities that are out there that don't require a 4-year degree. As a first-generation college student myself, I also consider myself, a first-generation professional. I did not have the opportunity to sit around with folks from a myriad of different backgrounds and find out about what it looked like to become a plumber, a pipe fitter, an electrician, and also just didn't have the depth of understanding of the many different opportunities that do require a 4-year degree. So staying involved in the board, it was one of the things that I was constantly bringing up, like, what does it look like for us to expand our services? What can we do to not only help students identify the best fit college, but help them identify the best fit path, whatever that may be, even if college isn't a part of it. I actually, I stepped back in as executive director primarily because our former executive director, a good mentor of mine, Sally Bowes, had to retire due to her health. And I was invited to apply. Fortunately, I was extended the opportunity to become the executive director. And that was a huge passion of mine right out the gate. How do we go about expanding the services we provide to young people, strengthening what we provide, but also building upon that? And so I just want to quickly, I know we're limited on time, but just wanted to talk about, our Palmer Pathways initiative, which we actually just submitted an application to the state for recognition as a pre-apprenticeship program. And hopefully we'll have some really significant funding come through to support 40 young people in this coming year who have an interest in pursuing a career in the construction trades. So I could go on and on about that, but I think the fact that we have added this Palmer Pathways initiative to our portfolio of services, in addition to the changes we made to our legacy program to broaden exposure to career opportunities, really speaks to what I'm passionate about with this organization, and that is building upon what we've done successfully and taking things to a whole new level. And this is an amazing opportunity to do so for a very deserving group of young people.
Where were you when I was in high school? That's what I want to know, because let me tell you, they did not have this kind of intimacy and leadership when it comes to getting yourself through high school, but that's just not it. Going even further and finding your passion so you can communicate and also give back with our community. Incredible vision, incredible. Rhys, I understand that for the past 2 years, you've worked for Palmer Scholars to recruit new scholars into the program. I don't know how you have time, but you probably don't sleep. Talk to us a bit about that experience.
No, yeah, honestly, it was an amazing experience that I was blessed with. Just having the opportunity to be able to go out to schools and, just talk to the students. I feel like I'm in this happy, middle where it's like, I'm not so far removed that I can't relate to them, but then I'm removed a little bit from high school that, I have some experience to offer them. Definitely though, just taking the experience that I've had from Palmer's and what they've done for me, it's kind of like just sharing my testimony and, getting the students hyped up for it because, I know what the program can do for them. And so with that, that has definitely, fueled my passion for, just connecting with the students on a personal level and helping them fill out their essays. There has been so many, just bright, young-minded individuals that, I've came in contact with, who come from a whole bunch of different backgrounds. And, you can definitely tell that they've been through a whole lot and that they just need this opportunity to just come up. And I would love, to be able to present that to them. So definitely it has been a very rewarding experience, just being able to work with, younger students. It kind of reminds me of myself when I was in high school and, just being able to give back, it's really big.
You've answered one of my questions of do you see yourself in those students that you are explaining how Palmer Scholars work and motivating and encouraging by just who you are?
Yeah, definitely. Man, just looking back when I was a junior and just applying for the program, honestly, I didn't know what Palmer's was. I think Jonathan came and presented to us and I was like, what, Palmer's? I don't really care about this. But I had a mentor, he kind of pushed me. And, I really got into Palmer's not even knowing what it was. But, definitely, I know that if we just hit on one point, it really just sparks the students' interest. And, from there, it's just hitting the road, man.
Yeah, the rest of it is just soaring, isn't it? It really is. Jonathan, I understand your annual Stand Up and Cheer luncheon, renamed Stand In and Cheer, is being held as an online marketing campaign during the month of April coming up. Many of our viewers have attended in the past. What can they hope to see as a part of this year's campaign?
Yeah, so, for the second year in a row, we're having our Stay In and Cheer campaign, really prioritizing the health of our supporters. We made the really tough decision to not actually host a virtual luncheon. There's a lot of organizations that are hosting virtual gatherings. And as I mentioned, we've had to pivot very hard during this pandemic. And as much as it's given us the opportunity to, in some ways, step back and focus on different things, there's a lot of new and challenging work that has come about as a result of leading an organization during a pandemic. And as I mentioned, a lot of kind of irons in the fire related to our Pathways initiative. So what we decided to do is, rather than having another Zoom event that folks have to hop onto at the end of the day when they're already Zoom fatigued from 12,000 meetings, is to host a virtual campaign where we're sharing a ton of stories and testimonials from scholars, donors, volunteers, board members, different supporters, telling them, what is your why? So for our scholars, why was it important for you to pursue post-secondary education? Why has Palmer Scholars been impactful in your life? And for folks that are involved with our program in one or more ways, why are you involved in that way? So folks can anticipate a very robust, very well put together website from our development coordinator, Kayla, who's phenomenal, and a ton of social media and print media marketing that's really showcasing who we're serving and why it is so important that we continue to serve them. So between the 1st and the 20th of April, there's going to be a number of communications. We'll try not to bombard your inboxes too much, but we're going to make sure you have all of the information that you need to know just how important this organization is, why it's important that our work continues, and to give you ample opportunities to give of your time, talents, and resources.
Boy, that sounds like something I would love to zoom in and look at, because I can do it on my time. And I know you're going to have great stories like Mr. Reese over here as well. Jonathan, you're always working on taking Palmer Scholars to the next level. What are you working on now, and what is your vision for Palmer Scholars in the years to come?
That's very accurate. I'm always working, and sometimes I wonder that maybe I should slow down a little bit and just kind of focus on what we have. But I recognize the opportunity for our organization and really want to capitalize on some of the momentum that we've built. And so I think I'll speak directly to the Palmer Pathways Initiative, which is a huge expansion for us, applying for state level recognition as a pre-apprenticeship program, shifting our model slightly to target young adults who maybe have graduated from high school, maybe they have their GED, and they just haven't been able to figure out that next step. So pulling them in and providing support and resources that are frankly lacking for that age group. There's a lot of programs for kids. There's a handful of programs for college-bound students. There are very few programs for students who have figured out they don't want to go to college, but haven't figured out what they want to do. So that is a really significant expansion. And we're really excited about what that means to be partnering with. We have a number of really key partnerships with the iron workers and the laborers and the masons. It's been a very, very busy year retooling that model and getting ourselves ready for what we're calling Pathways 2.0. But we're also making a lot of improvements to our legacy program, taking a look at our mentoring program and really starting to utilize some software that is going to take it to the next level. There's a number of things that we're just kind of doing to get our house all the way in order and grow and expand. And so if everything works out according to my plans, we'll literally be doubling the size of the organization and at least doubling the impact of the organization in just a few months' time. So a lot of things on my plate. Luckily, I have a very talented team, and luckily I have a very generous donor base who has helped make this possible. So I will be able to hire myself some help, and I won't have too many additional gray hairs in this goatee, but definitely a lot of really important and really big things on the horizon.
That is impressive, and I see cloning yourself in your future.
What was that now?
I said, that is impressive, and I see that you need to clone yourself in this future.
Yeah, that'll definitely happen. The work needs to happen when it needs to happen, though, so I got to prioritize that at the moment. But I'll get a vacation day or two at some point.
So Rhys, why is it important that students in our community continue to receive the services that Palmer Scholars provides?
Man, that is just such a big question, but it's extremely important that students, still have the opportunity to receive a service like Palmer's, because it can just do so much for just individuals who never even have the opportunity to, do things that they never even imagined. It has made such a great impact. Like, I just keep bringing up my personal testimony, but I'm just so grateful for Palmer's, because I definitely wouldn't be in the same situation that I am today if it weren't for them, stepping in and giving me that sense of community, passing on, the wisdom that they had. And, just having the staff members, form like personal bonds, I would want that opportunity for anybody, because it's just a great experience. And, to be from a background where you may not have a whole lot of support, this is definitely something that can change an individual's life. But yeah, just like a program like Palmer's is not something that you see every day. And I tell anybody, like, if you have the opportunity to apply to this program, like, do it. I'm trying to, like, just pass this on to, like, family, cousins, friends, whoever it may be, because I just know the impact that it has.
Well, your brilliance and your passion about this is contagious. So even just talking about it, you're passing it on. And there's a phrase I want to leave you with from a very old song that says, "Your future is so bright, you need to wear shades." Because that's exactly who you are. Jonathan, tell our audience how they can support the work that Palmer Scholars does.
Yeah, so as I mentioned, we've got our upcoming Stand Up and Cheer or Stay In and Cheer virtual campaign. As a nonprofit who relies, 100% on the generosity of our community, we obviously are always seeking financial contributions. But just as we're much more than a scholarship, we're much more than just a place where you can donate. There's a lot of opportunities to get involved, whether it be coming and speaking at a training, kind of sharing a bit of your professional trajectory, serving as a mentor. A lot of folks recognize, students tend to look at Palmer Scholars as a scholarship program with additional kind of hoops you jump through to get the money. A lot of our supporters recognize us as a mentoring program that happens to also provide training and scholarship dollars. And so there's both long-term mentoring opportunities available, but as I mentioned before, we're working on kind of revamping the mentoring program and creating opportunities for micro mentoring or flash mentoring. So maybe you're somebody who can't make a 3 to 5 year commitment to be a mentor, but you can commit to 3 to 5 minutes every couple of weeks to have a conversation with somebody about what you do for a living or some of the hurdles that you were able to jump. There's a number of different ways. So I think just the best way to get involved is to go to our website, palmerscholars.org. And take a look and find out about what it is that we do. And I guarantee you, if you take the moment to read through our website and find out about what we do, how we do, and who we do it for, chances are you're going to want to get involved. And there's a number of ways that you can do that, all of which can be accessed on the website.
Thank you both for being here today, for you, Jonathan, for all that you do for our youth and building our community and building that legacy. And for you, Rhys, you are just amazing. And I hope that your success is contagious to your siblings and to all of your friends and family, because you are one that we're going to continue to watch. So thank you, Rhys, so much for being here.
No, yeah.
Can I add?
Thank you.
Yeah. Amanda, can I add really quickly?
Yes.
For those of you who might not remember, Rhys mentioned before he's going to be graduating in a couple of months. Phenomenal young man. We've been very blessed to have him work with us for the past couple of years. And I really encourage you to get in touch with him. You can reach out to me and I can put you in touch with him, but he's about to graduate. He's going to need a job. College is great, but it's a stepping stone. It is not the end game. So help us get connected to work.
I love that. What a beautiful plug. Thank you again, both of you, for being here.